hold up. Let me get my feet out of the frame.
What if I put my feet into the frame?
No feet pictures today. It'll just cut to our feet. No explanation of why they're suddenly there.
Oh wait, does that mean I have to actually get my feet into the frame real quick? Let me just like...
Alright, how much longer do I have to do this?
I'm here,
Waving.
Okay, we can stop now.
Alright.
Okay, you're gonna have to pay for that. You're gonna have to sign up to the Chai Chatter Patreon to see more feet. Okay.
Get Chai Chatter OnlyFans, just feet pics.
Chai Chatter only.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Chai Chatter. This week, we will be discussing 1 week lifestyle challenges with a side of various warm beverages. What do you guys have today?
I have, I believe it is called Jingle Bell Chai.
I just have a chai tea latte.
I have a classic Earl Grey.
Diana with her
Yeah,
lattes.
ever since I got a milk frother for Christmas, I've just been making so many lattes.
Your drinks are always like a step up, you know, from our...
Yeah, I'm like, I got a classic Earl Grey. I'm just like, I have a latte over here.
Yeah, latte.
You couldn't even get this for $5 at Starbucks.
So, the lifestyle challenge that I've decided to take on this week is a social media cleanse. Whoop whoop. Yeah, I don't think that... I use social media more than some people. I would say that that's true, but I don't think I use it like a crazy amount. I have my hours here just to expose myself. I think that this is, for last week, my average time spent on TikTok was 2 hours and 47 minutes. I think that's per day. But the thing about TikTok is usually I will be watching something else, like I'll be watching a TV show while I'm scrolling. So yeah, and the same goes for Instagram, which my time on that is 1 hour and 37 minutes per average. And then kind of smaller numbers, for Pinterest, it's only 23 minutes. And for Snapchat, it's only 19 minutes. So, you know, it's like, it could be worse, but like, it could be better too. It's kind of in that middle ground. So, I guess the reason why I wanted to do a social media cleanse is just because, well, I already like, kind of do like smaller cleanses, you can call it. Like, I basically uninstall TikTok every other week just because like, I get frustrated with some of the things that become trends. And Instagram, I've been like considering deleting for a long time, but it's just like, it's one of my main ways of sort of talking to my friends right now, you know, with COVID and all. That's sort of like one of my only opportunities to actually see what people are up to and talk to them or whatever. I don't know, some of like, there's so many accounts that I like wish I could just like unfollow, but like,
I mean, isn't there a mute kind of a function? I'm not really sure.
I have some people muted. Not like people, but like accounts and stuff. Oh yeah, okay, so what did I think I was gonna get out of this cleanse? Well, basically, like many other people, I have a huge procrastinating habit. I think most teenagers do. And I was sort of hoping, that if I got rid of these sort of distractions, then I would not procrastinate so much. And then the other thing was just, again, like sometimes social media annoys me, and also times it can be very overwhelming with just like all the information that we're getting and you know all that jazz. The results of this 4-day social media cleanse: I deleted TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook. I also have Facebook, but I legitimately never need it. I never use it. So.
Our generation we've
moved on. We're leaving Facebook.
We have moved on.
I kept Snapchat because I wanted like some way to still contact people.
What were your kind of like mental gains?
Honestly, like I understand it was only 4 days, but it was a little bit underwhelming. Like, you know, I didn't think I was gonna come out of this thing like a superhuman, but I thought that like at least I would feel a bit more productive. Because here's the thing. When I got rid of like Instagram and TikTok and those sort of like distractions, like when it came time to actually like sit down and do schoolwork, I just like found new distractions. Like there was actually one point where I went on my phone for like multiple hours just like scrolling through my camera roll just because I didn't want to do work. So that's the thing that I find about procrastination, that if there's a will, there's a way, you know?
There's a way.
There's always going to be a way to procrastinate, you know?
when you were first like, I think you'll like cut down my procrastination. I was going to wait until we were having a discussion to say it, but I know I've done that before. And then I always end up being like, oh, but I could be painting right now. Oh, I could be doing this that's fun right now.
The worst procrastination happens when you have like actually a really long to-do list. You'll be on one task and being like, oh, but this one's more important, so maybe I should start on this.
Yeah,
and you
I
almost feel like you know, you're number one, you're trying to do all of these things at once, and you're way too ambitious with your like goals for the day. And then it'll be like midday and you'll realize that you haven't gotten much done at all. Why should I keep feeling bad about myself when I could just like not do anything? Right?
I spend like half the day organizing like which tasks I'm actually going to do first. You know, because I just never get around to any of them. My next lifestyle challenge should be not starting every sentence on this podcast with "all right." So, or okay, all right. Just those words, those filler words.
Hey, if you think about it, the audience doesn't usually get to hear that because it's cut out, you know? So
that's true.
I can edit you to start saying booby or bazinga in front of your sentences from now on. You know how you guys have talked about it's hurting like our productivity, but for a lot of people it kind of hurts like their self-esteem or just comparing their lives, their appearances, like their accomplishments to other people. Was that something you've struggled with, or is that something you can't really relate to but you kind of get?
I kind of get that. I usually don't like look at pictures of people I know on Instagram and be like, ooh, I wish I was them. But like sometimes if I'm on like TikTok and I like see a stranger, I'm like, okay, damn, they hot. I wish that was me. But like it's not really a big issue for me. You know, I served my time as like a super self-conscious person. It probably bothered me in the past. I just can't really remember it that well.
I think for me, almost the opposite. I get a lot of like confidence boost from social media, probably because I mean you put your best face on social media, which is part of the issue. I just know that like even if I post like a quick like something on, if I'm posting something on my story, my face is on it, I'll have like one, maybe two people like respond to the story and I'll be like you know, like it just is that little boost of serotonin every time someone comments or like likes a photo or something. I have that confidence. And I don't find myself comparing myself to people for two reasons. One, I'll be like looking at memes on Instagram. Let's be real. That's why we're there. The only other thing I really look at is like fashion stuff on there. So I'll see someone, I'll be like, I wish I could wear a ball gown every day. Like, so it doesn't really hurt my self-esteem. It's just like, I can't wear a ball gown every day.
For me, it's like, it's weird because it doesn't really have to do with what's on social media, but just like me and my participation in it and how congruent that is with like my value that I want to be like an honest person. You get what I mean? Because I'm perfectly aware of the fact that on social media, I put my best, quirkiest, funniest foot forward, right? And like I find myself, you know, like Chantal said, like getting validation from social media, feeling really good, but at the same time it's also like I feel kind of like a phony, you know, because I'm not always like this. I don't like, you know, if I post my face on my story, that's not going to be like after a sweaty workout when my hair is like in 10 different directions. Chantal, you know how on Discord, like the whole like...
I know what you're going to say.
The selfie posting, it's like on these Discord servers, people post selfies and then there'll be like comments that respond to the selfies. And you know, we all know what it's for. It's for like a quick grab of some validation, some compliments. It's good vibes. But the other day I was talking to a friend about it and just kind of thinking about like, you know, whether that's a good thing to do, because it's like, hey, look at this picture of my face, and then strangers are there to tell you to feel good about yourself. I don't know how to describe it. It feels weird.
I get that. I think the thing with posting those selfies, and then I know a lot of people that post them and they'll delete them like a week later so that they don't live there, but like they get that validation in the moment. When you're doing that though, it's not like you're guaranteed those compliments, because people could just scroll past yours and not care. But then like when you get something, you're like, it still gives you that boost of serotonin, even though that is kind of what you were going there for. For me, most of the photos I post are things that I had taken 1 or 2 days before, and I really like that photo, and I'm like, you know what? I want to share that. I took this photo myself. I feel bomb in it. compliment me because I deserve it. Like, it's so narcissistic, but it's needing that little bit of validation to, like, pat yourself on the back.
I think it's that aspect of it where it's like I'm afraid to get dependency on it, you know, like to be disappointed if I ever posted a photo and nobody responded. You get what I mean? It's like you're giving power to other people for like how you should feel about yourself, and that's the aspect of it where I'm like, I need to like not get too far deep into this, because then it's going to, you know, like you're like almost giving yourself self-esteem issues. If you didn't have any before, if you were like, I'm fine with just looking the way I am, right? But you put yourself out there and you tell people, hey, judge me. And again, you say, you know, it's really good if somebody compliments you, but then maybe there'll come a time when you think you look bomb in a photo, but you don't get a compliment or you don't get as many likes on Instagram. And then that like makes you feel shit about yourself, even though you didn't before.
I'm right now in a place where I just know I look bomb. So, like, shit on me all you want. Yeah. I'm ready for it. Yeah. I know I look good.
You know what? Guys, if we ever, like, get back together, you know, once we're in college or something, I'm definitely gonna try out Tinder and I will tell you all of my horror stories.
Yeah.
I love it.
It'll be so fun. Yeah.
So, on to my challenge for the week. This week, I was doing slightly getting more absurd challenges, which is I had to say yes for the last 5 days. So it wasn't a full week. Mm-hmm. But I had to say yes to every opportunity given. The main exception just being nothing that can physically or emotionally harm anyone. Not like gonna try and ruin any friendships this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the main point of it is that like if someone's like, hey, do you want to do this? Yes, I do. Like, that sort of a thing. That way you're opening yourself up to more things that you normally wouldn't. And also taking away your free will.
Yeah.
Which is mildly sketchy, but it's fine. So, for me, I started off by, like, you know, very lightly looking into it. And I found one article of a person who did it. And they were saying that they had such hope going into their week. And then they ended up being hospitalized on one of the later nights because they did something they were not prepared to do. And they ended up, like, hurting themselves. I think the main idea when people are going into this challenge, because there are a couple people who I've seen, like, document them doing it. The main thing that people have in their mind is that, oh, it's going to make me open to new things and try new things and everything. And the thing is, though, we're in a pandemic. I didn't get asked to really go anywhere. I've been asked to go, like last week there was one day I was asked to do something and I said no to. If it was a week ago, then I would have had to say yes. But this week I just wasn't asked to like go anywhere or anything really out of my comfort zone. But there were a couple things I can talk about. My first day, I forgot about it for like most of the day. I had like a really like mental health messy week, and the first day I was sort of like forgetting about it, and at the end of the day I was trying to convince myself. I was like, well, I said yes to this, but I would have said yes to it anyways. Like, don't try to kid yourself. So first day doesn't really count. I didn't really do anything too much out there, and then I didn't write down the days I did everything, but I sort of made a list of things I had to do. One of the first like things that stood out was someone told me that I should eat a plain piece of toast with like nothing on it and send them a video. Ooh. Because I was sort of like, okay. I was like trying to like, you know, give some opportunities for people to tell me to do things because, I mean, things weren't coming up naturally right away. So I was like, what should I do? Like, sort of a thing. And then someone was like, eat a plain piece of toast with nothing on it. They had no idea I was doing this. And I was like, and they thought I was going to say no. And I was like, bet, let's do it. And I made a piece of toast and I ate it at midnight. So the other thing that I started was manufacturing, because that one was half manufactured, because I kind of like prompted like tell me to do something specific, and then I got back that. The other thing I sort of like half manufactured into it to make there a couple more things. Like on Discord, from a couple different servers, not just because of selfies, but like I'll get DMs from complete random people. A lot of them I ignore because they'll just be like, hey, and it's obvious that they just are messaging someone random. They don't actually really have anything to say. But I responded to every single one for 3 days of it. Like, some people were cool. Some people were nice to talk to. Others were not. One person I stopped responding to because it was really dry and they told me I suck. So
Oh,
that's cool.
Oh. You
Like, I
gotta
don't know,
end
it
it
was-
before they say that. Like,
Exactly. I stopped responding, and then they sent me another message, and I think one more, and then they were just like, "You suck," and I was like, "Bruh."
you know what? They're having a rough week. That sounds like somebody that's having a rough week right there.
Yeah. But you know what? I wasn't emotionally invested in any of that, so I didn't really care. The first thing that I think really stuck out to me as I didn't want to say yes, but I did, was at 2:45 a.m. I was having a fairly bad night, but like not that bad, like, and someone was like, "Do you want to join a voice call with me and someone?" And it was 2:45 a.m. And I was sitting there and I was like, "I have a test tomorrow. This isn't a good idea."
This is the night before our calc test.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I shouldn't say yes. I mean, like, I did just do a bunch of studying, but, like, I should go to bed. But then I was like, I have to say yes. Like, what am I gonna do? Say no? So I joined the call for, like, maybe half an hour to 45 minutes. Like, I wasn't up that much later in reality. But it was nice. Like, I thought that it was gonna be, like, really, I was gonna regret it and everything. But it got me from being, like, really stressed to, like, we kind of had a good time just, like, talking for a little bit of time before going to sleep. I would have just stressed myself out. I would have had a bad sleep, and then I would have woken up and been tired. Or I could stay up a bit later, go to bed in a good mood, have a better sleep. Even though on the surface it sounds like a terrible idea to get on a call so late, I think it was a good idea that night, and I definitely wouldn't have regularly. And it was that sort of thing where it was opening me up to talk to more people, and I think that was a good thing.
Actually, your kind of concept of like saying yes, right? So I once read a self-help book called Year of Yes. It's by Shonda Rhimes, who's the head writer of Grey's Anatomy. And actually, it was a pretty like good book. You know, she said yes to things like giving a commencement speech at Dartmouth, even though she had a fear of public speaking. She said yes to like, you know, starting to lose weight so that she can be healthy for her kids and like just like taking care of her mental health and her future and everything. Like, it was actually a good book. I think maybe that approach of like saying yes to everything probably isn't the point of the whole, you know, saying yes to things that so
Plus it's very different because like Shonda Rhimes is saying yes to literally speaking at like, I'm pretty sure it's an Ivy League school, and then Chantal is saying yes to eating plain toast, so, you know.
Yeah, you know, hey, maybe that piece of toast is the turning point in your life, but most likely not, you know?
But it could be. Very well could be.
It could be.
You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to be, like, so great at everything now, and I'll just say yes to everything. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched the YouTube channel Yes Theory. It also has a very similar premise to it where doing things that are outside of your comfort zone, their whole phrase is seek discomfort. The whole thing is saying yes to things that you normally wouldn't or you might want to, but you're too scared. So I think that that's also like a mentality that I would love to really apply one day. I don't think I am as of now quite to that extent, but wouldn't that be like a great thing to be able to apply that and be like, yeah, I did that.
It's funny that there are also books that are like the power of saying no. It's like, am I supposed to say yes or am I supposed to say no?
What is better for me?
The answer is to say maybe. That's the lesson here.
Yeah. Just be indecisive. That's the answer. Anyways, on to Miss Glenda.
All right. So, okay. Again, my habit is not like super crazy, you know, but I will say I've never been somebody that has really like been super into astrological signs. You know, obviously I think most people that quote believe in them know that they're not 100% serious, but that still does not stop us from kind of, you know, making little connections between people we know with their signs and little behaviors and looking inwards and seeing if we match certain things. So I have been using the app called CoStar, which is a pretty popular kind of astrological horoscope app. And just looking at the daily updates, which are really weirdly specific. They have things like do's and don'ts, right? So things like do, cold shower, quiet meal, deep breath. Don't, hot sauce, arguments, facades. And I'll just read you the entry for today, just to like kind of explain how specific it is. So, good evening at username. It's Friday, January 15th. Today at a glance. You have a supporting role, not a central role in your friends' lives. Follow their lead. Power in self, pressure in routine, thinking and creativity, spirituality, and sex and love. Trouble with social life. Today through Monday, do you feel like the nail holding everything together? Today you feel torn between taking things personally and believing no one's after you. It's good to voice your opinions if that's what you need. Just make sure you're not doing that thing where you overanalyze every social interaction and then start to believe that it is selfish to say no to a request. Improvisation is how things happen. I guess, like, I really didn't know that much about astrology. I will admit, I probably only know, like, 3-4 signs. You know, Virgo, Aries, Leo. Actually, only, like, 3. I only know, like, the personality. And I know that there are things like you have gates and you have your sun sign, your moon, your, like, Jupiter rising, your space odyssey, your... whatever else, and then there's like earth, air, water, and fire element signs and stuff. So I know that Virgo is an earth element, and that the explanation for why people that are Virgos have like such a diverse range of personalities is that we are malleable because we're an earth sign. But I think it's funny because the actual explanation would be that majority of birthdays on earth happen to be during September. I just thought it was funny that that's the way it's explained. Anyway, so yeah, basically what I did throughout the week was I just lived my day like normal, and then I would check CoStar at the very end of the day to see things that were accurate and not. And they employ kind of the same thing as psychics do, where they give out a very general statement that also is very weighted. Like the statement is kind of heavy, but it's general enough where even if it only applies to you a little bit, it will make you go, oh, wow, maybe I never thought of it that way. Maybe I am being a bitch to my grandma. Or, you know, because the way it states it is so strong, you almost kind of have to question yourself. So I would say there was about like a 40% match for the things that were on these CoStar entries and what actually happened in my day. Another thing that I did do this week was manifesting. Just one thing, I manifested money, and I did it with my stock because I thought that's a great way to see whether this thing works or not. So, and it actually did. So one of my stocks that I own is Alibaba, and it was tanking pretty hard because of, you know, some investigations with the Chinese Communist Party. So the stock was down, and I was like, you know, if I'm gonna manifest, I'm gonna manifest it going back up. And actually it did. So I don't really know what that proves
Maybe
at all.
manifesting is real.
Yeah,
What did you do to, like,
my
manifest it? Did you, like, write it or, like...
Okay, this is my routine. This is my routine. I sit in a cross-legged position, pretend that I'm meditating. I squeeze my butt cheeks really hard, and I do, like, a prayer motion. I manifest that the stock will go up by 5 points today. And then, yeah. Granted, though, I didn't really check the stock throughout the week. I just checked it now, and yeah, it did like rise a couple points. So I don't know how to speak on whether this kind of thing adds value to somebody's life, because like with Chantal's thing that she did, it adds value to your life in that it gets you out of your comfort zone to like try new things. And then Diana's is just like giving peace of mind.
I think if you don't believe in it, then you won't get anything out of it, obviously, but like it can be kind of comforting to have someone sort of tell you who you are, I guess, you know? Because then sometimes, you know, you feel like you don't even understand yourself, you know, let alone anyone else. So when like someone is like, you have a tendency to procrastinate on CoStar, then you're like, yeah, I do, you know, I really do, and it makes you feel kind of
course,
understood, I guess.
Yeah. Like there's a similar thing with the Myers-Briggs test. Personality types. I definitely agree that it's that feeling of being able to attach yourself to a label, and then that label comes with just a set of things that you are. But the thing that I have an issue with, the point where people start like mistreating, being an ass to other people, or like they blame it on like, oh, you know, like Mercury is in retrograde, or like I just have two brain cells, or you know, I'm just crackhead energy kind of thing. Like they blame it on that. So yeah, my lifestyle challenge is not that like exciting, I guess, you know, following a horoscope. It's like Diana said, it's because I myself don't believe in it that much. Even manifesting, right? I still think, you know, it was a cool coincidence. But maybe the law of attraction and things like manifesting work if you like genuinely really believe in it, because then subconsciously you'll start making decisions that will like almost be like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And just going back to like the whole astrology thing, I have a little bit of a bone to pick with CoStar because I used to have it. And like I don't know that much about astrology, but I do know that like half the time from what I heard, kind of like what they wrote about you was like more specific than I was used to, because like sometimes I would literally just be like scrolling on like thesaurus.com, just like searching up all these words and trying to figure out what the hell they were meaning, because like sometimes they would just like they would just string together these words that just like they all sound really profound, but really they have like no meaning. Your consciousness has chosen the long road today. Look further. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, you know? And also I've just heard from like other people who do know about astrology, like my mom who's super into it, that it's like one of the worst apps you can get for astrology. So
I think the only time I'm ever like actually like somewhat interested is when I'll talk to them for all of 5 seconds and they go, "You're a Virgo, aren't you?" And I'm just sitting there like, how did you know? Like that's the only time I'm ever curious. Whenever they literally like, I've had at least 2 people just be like, "You're a Virgo, aren't you?" And I'm like, what voodoo is this? How do you know when I was
born? I fit the Virgo stereotype a lot, but the problem is like I don't know if I fit the Virgo stereotype because like that's who I am, or if I fit the Virgo stereotype because I know that I'm a Virgo and therefore I've like forced myself subconsciously to act that way, you know?
Yeah, it's just like these things are vague enough where you can take your complex human personality and experience and just like make connections between. So it seems like, you know, actually, okay, so we have a panel full of Virgos here. You guys gotta tell me, like, what percentage of like the Virgo traits do you identify with?
Honestly, like, pretty much all of them. The thing is, whenever people do things where, like, they're, like, the signs as food, the signs as animals, they always, like, pick the most boring one for Virgo. Like, if it's, like, cupcakes, will be, like, muffins or something.
Will literally be the oatmeal raisin cookie. Like, I saw a post like that, and I'm like, screw you.
You know like, what I'm talking about, yeah.
I feel like they start at the top of the thing, and they're like, Leos are brave or whatever. We're gonna give them something really striking. We're gonna give Aquarius like something that's like alludes to water for no reason. We're gonna get like, you know, like they start doing like stuff like that. And then when it gets to Virgo, they're like, what's left? And they just throw something at us.
Literally. Yeah. Virgo is like portrayed as such a boring sign, and like I think, okay, we all to some degree agree with like perfectionism, being like reliable people, but I feel like they take that like reliability part and just turn it into like it means you're boring. Like you're really like, you gotta stick up your bum, you're the mom friend, you're like too responsible and never have fun. You like, you know, think that meatballs are spicy or whatever, like, you know. So that's like a huge reason why I never identified with Virgo. We are all very like, we're extroverted people, number one, and we have a lot of personality to us. So I feel like, you know.
But again, like I feel like a lot of the times like where I find those posts where are like the signs as like muffins or something, the source is like astrology.love.puppies or something, that's like an Instagram account. So like, you know, but when I like actually talk to my mom or like I talk to my friends who know like a lot about astrology, they say that Virgo can be a fun sign. So yeah, again, it's like what you said before, it's a very diverse sign and there's a lot of different personality types within it.
I definitely hope that we do another one of these where maybe we try for a longer period of time and try things that we definitely do actually think will work. All right, so thank you so much for listening to us get deep while our tea steeps and talk about these funny little scammy sometimes life challenges. If you have any suggestions that you would like to see or hear from us, please leave that in the comments down below. And we hope to see you next week. Cheers!